y'all, welcome to the family that reads a lot. Bringing y'all a curriculum video today for homeschool. If you are new here, we homeschool, we homestead, we do all of the things. I bring a little bit of everything on this channel, from gardening, reading, life, vacationing. What you see is what you get. This originally started out as a reading channel, but it's sort of more morphed into like a life channel because this is just who we are. If you're not new here, you may be going, why are you making a curriculum video on what's a reading channel? I'm kind of switching things up. I had considered having multiple channels and having a homeschool only channel and my reading channel, but honestly, that's just too much for me to manage. So here we are, we're doing it all. And if you are interested in homeschool curriculum at all, jump in, watch it. If you're not, that's okay too. I'm gonna have my other, types of videos at different times. So, wanted to jump in. This is the curriculum that we're using for 4th grade for my daughter, okay? You're gonna see me say 4th grade very loosely because we are somewhat eclectic, I guess, if you want to put a label on it, in that we use different curriculums for different subjects. I don't just buy one box curriculum and use it for everything. We do what works for us. And sometimes that means my kids are ahead in some things. Sometimes that may mean they're behind. Sometimes it may be they're on level. But this is technically her 4th grade year, and this is what she's using. So, jumping in with that, a lot of what you're gonna see here technically is 5th grade curriculum because that's the level that she's on quite a few things. Now, what I will say, when my son got to this level, this was the year where it got pretty hard. Some things got difficult, some things we had to go back and redo, and all of that, and his levels shifted around a little bit. We redid some things. So just because she's a year ahead now doesn't mean she'll stay a year ahead. And just because she's on level with something doesn't mean she won't jump ahead later. That's my caveat to all of it. That is the biggest thing with homeschool, is you have to do what works for you. So this is just what we're using. This is not me telling you have to use this or you should use this or anything else. This is what works for us. Now, introduction to who my daughter is as a person, because that matters so much in homeschool. You have to find the curriculum that is right for your child where they are with who they are. My daughter is very into like artsy type things, and she likes colorful things and beautiful things and all of that. My son is not like that. He is a very literal kid who wants to check boxes and get done. So you're gonna see very different curriculums when I jump over and do his video. So for her, one of her core and favorite subjects is, we use The Good and the Beautiful. This is their Language Arts and Literature Level 5 course book. This is a language arts program that we have been using for 4 years, I think. It's a good fit for us. I will tell you, everything that you're gonna see here, we modify. We do not pick up any curriculum and say, we're gonna use this exactly as the company says I have to use it. Because this is my homeschool and this is their homeschool experience. And we're gonna use it in the way that is best for us. So, we do the Good and the Beautiful homeschool curriculum. We do not do every single thing. Some of their lessons can get long, and some of their lessons have too much for us in it. And so we just mark things out that we're not gonna do. Some of it is absolutely great and a perfect fit, and we do the whole lesson. This curriculum comes with this book. It comes with the Language Arts Level 5 answer key. And hold on a second, because the other piece is not here. Okay, I'm back. It comes with a watercolor around the world booklet that shows them how to do some watercolor paintings that are absolutely beautiful. And then it comes with the templates for those, so they don't have to draw these things out from scratch. But the reason that I didn't have some of this sitting here, it also comes with a book set that's all the books that they need for the course. I didn't have this sitting here because my son did this level 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't remember. But 2 or 3 years ago, he did this level. So you don't have to rebuy the books. And that was super nice now that my daughter is of that age. So it comes with 4 books. It comes with Chico of the Andes, Captured Words, which is a Native American story, The Clockmaker's Son, and Marjorie. And he thoroughly enjoyed all of these books. So I'm excited to see my daughter do this level for this year. I think she's going to really enjoy it. She always pretty much flies through her language arts lessons like it's one of her favorite subjects of the day because she thoroughly enjoys it. Okay, next subject. Math. So for her 3rd grade math. So this is Math 5 from The Good and the Beautiful. It's Simply Good and Beautiful Math 5. In 3rd grade, I switched her over to The Good and the Beautiful Math. It has been a perfect fit for her. It has a short video lesson, usually like 10 minutes or under, and then they do their lesson in here. So it has this. It has a mental math map mysteries where there's some mental math that me and her do together in the mornings. Each lesson has it's a couple questions, like it doesn't take long at all. And at the end of the week, they get to put a sticker in the back of the book. She loves doing it. It's interesting to her. She wants to see the picture come together. If your kids are motivated by little things, it's literally the little things. Now, my son never did The Good and the Beautiful Math. He has taken a different track in math. I have heard that this level is very tough. 5th grade math in general is very tough. It gets long and hard. There's a lot of, you really get into like decimals and fractions and the very beginning of algebra and all this stuff. I intend on this potentially taking 1.5 years. Where we need to slow down, we will slow down. Where she can breeze through it, we will breeze through it. But I am not using this and saying we are going to do this in the set amount of days and then we will be complete with our book. It will take us as long as it takes us. But she loves this because it's very colorful, it's very bright. It has kind of a story woven into it. A lot of times you hear the same people's names in the story questions and things like that. This one is all based pretty much on animals and the forest. So very excited for her to start this one. Like I said, this year for math for her was very tough. Not because of the curriculum. It was just a year of her learning that not everything is going to come easy. And once she got to that point, like once we hit the middle of the year and she really relented and understood that not every topic is going to come easy and just be 2 + 2 = 4 or a simple multiplication problem, like there's going to be more steps, there's going to be more things, then she started breezing through it again. So these are just those years where things start getting to be more. And I'm excited for this. She said that at the end of the year we finished, she said that math is one of her favorite subjects now. And that is what I want to hear from my kids, that they are enjoying what we do. So that is our math for her. She does handwriting from The Good and the Beautiful. This is year 4. So this is basically the introduction of cursive. Wow, why was that so hard? Words, they're hard. But last year was a tiny bit of cursive. This year they get more into cursive. Now, what I think I've realized with my son is that cursive can be a blessing and a curse. I feel like when he started doing cursive, it really affected his handwriting. His handwriting is not as neat as it used to be. His cursive looks nice, but his general handwriting becomes like almost a mix of handwriting and cursive, and it looks sloppy, and it kind of made me crazy. But I heard from other moms that it was the same way, that they struggled with the same stuff, and that eventually it kind of worked itself out. So with him, he's 3 grades ahead of her, so he's going into 7th. I'm actually having him work on print because, like I said, he just needs some clarification. So I'll see if that's the case with her. I don't know if that's going to be the case with her or not. Everybody that I talked to had boys, and let's be honest, boys' handwriting is generally not as neat as girls. I feel like they just go faster, and that leads to a little bit sloppier handwriting. So those are the easy subjects. Those are the ones where it was like, click order, you get your books, you have them, you hand them to them, you're done, right? There's videos to go with one, there's not videos with the other, we work through it together. But these were the easy peasy, I knew what I was choosing and everything else. For her, for science this year, I realized that what we were doing was not working. We were doing unit studies for science with a curriculum, and I'm not going to honestly mention it because it was not the curriculum at all. We also found out this year that she has some ADHD struggles, and it just sitting and listening to me talk is not a good system for her. She tends to zone out or get frustrated because it's going on too long, different things like that. It's just not her way to learn. So I don't have anything to show for science this year. We have not really decided, but found out that her best way to learn is her leading her own science. So she picks a subject, and we tried it at the end of this year to see if this would clear up some of our issues, and it really did. She picks a subject, and she's going to study that subject for 3 weeks. So the first one that she picked was space. So we went to the library, and we got all the books on space. Like, any of the ones that she saw that she was interested in, we checked them out. Luckily, our library lets us check out a ton of books. So she read through them, and I was like, okay, is she actually going to learn this way? Y'all, she learned stuff that I don't know about space, and she learned all kind of interesting facts about Mars and lunar landers and all this other stuff. And then we got it's by DK. It was like Space Labs. And so her and her dad wound up building lunar landers, and they did some other space experiments and different things on temperature and all this stuff. It was great. She thoroughly enjoyed it, had a blast with it. It was awesome. Right now, for summer, she wanted to learn about deserts. So we're kind of doing the same thing because I like to test out a way of doing things or a new curriculum or a new setup for school before we commit to it. So I didn't want to say I'm not buying a science curriculum this year and then get 3 weeks in and realize we really should have bought something. So we've been in the test out phase for summer, and she picked deserts, and same thing, we went and got a bunch of books on deserts, and she's like, Mom, this is this desert and da-da-da and all these things and everything else. And y'all, for 4th grade, this is perfect. Is this what we will do when she gets to high school? No, we will have to figure something else out. But for right now, she is loving learning again, and she is absolutely loving the things that she's learning, and that makes me happy. So that is part of what I say when I say we're eclectic. We use what works. So that is science. For history, social studies, whatever, I think we are kind of moving in the same direction. For science and history, we had always done that as a group subject with all of us. My son is now getting to the level of upper junior high to high school for those 2 subjects. So science, he's on his own. He has his own curriculum. History, we're going to start the year out one way, and if it doesn't work, we're going to change it. And that is the beauty of homeschooling, is when it gets to the point of needing to make a change, we just change it. So at the beginning of the year, this is Harcourt Social Studies, the United States Making a New Nation. Okay, this is an older history book, but y'all, the history from back then didn't change. We're not studying modern history. We're studying American history prior to World War I. So we're going to go right up to World War I, and then we will talk about the Dust Bowl and the Depression, but we're not going to touch on the World Wars. One, my son did those last year for modern world history, and two, I don't feel like going in depth into wars is necessary in elementary. So my son learned about those. He's in junior high. She doesn't need that. So we're focusing on the colonies and westward expansion and all of those awesome, fun things. We're going to talk about the national parks and the Tennessee Valley Authority and all these type of different things. I'm using this kind of as a spine. Basically, if I find another book that I like better, I'm going to go to the library soon and look for a spine-ish book. Then I will use that. But what we're going to do with this, all we're going to do is a basic discussion. So we may read a little bit out of this and talk about it. We may talk a little bit about the vocabulary words, and we'll do that as a group. Then I'm going to find probably some sort of video on YouTube that goes along with whatever we're talking about, if it's a particular colony. When we talk about the Revolutionary War, we're going to watch Liberty's Kids, because that's a fan favorite in my house, because that's what I grew up with and I loved it. And it's still well done. So we'll watch that. We may watch some different things. I have some videos on a different level for my son. And then we use living books, or Charlotte Mason style, or whatever you want to call it, but we read chapter books to solidify what we've talked about. I'm not going to go into the list of chapter books because I'm going to do another video on that, because I know this one's already getting long-winded. But basically, they will have a chapter book in certain parts of history that tie into what they've learned. Now that's more so for my son, but a few will be for my daughter. I'm also going to get some books that are like, basically I think of them as like an extended picture book. Like it's the well done picture books, but they have like reading at the bottom. It's not just a couple sentences. I don't know what you exactly call those. And since I have a reading channel, I should probably know that. But I know that you find them generally in the history section of the library or in the picture book section. But they're not really a picture book. Like, they're not for little kids, because there's a lot of information contained in them. So I will bring y'all a video in the nearish future on those living books, chapter books, etc., 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 pick a name, that we're going to use for history. The other thing is my daughter will be learning geography style of the 50 states. This is the National Geographic Kids United States Atlas. This is the 5th edition. I'm sure there are newer editions since then, because I bought this 3 years ago when my son did this. Basically, each state, you get a map. It's got major cities and stuff like that. It's got the economic things, like if they raise cows or chickens or make boats or whatever they do. And then it's got a basic breakdown on the state. So now, would the population numbers still be correct? Probably not. But everything else in here is just fine for me to reuse this. It gives you just a simple understanding of when the state came to be a part of the country. If it's got something super interesting about it, it tells you the bird, the flower, just simple basics, right? She also has a map program that we use on the computer where you touch the map, or touch the state and move it onto the map, and it tells you whether you got it right or wrong. So just a simple geography of the United States. And this does have a lot of really good information in it, as far as it breaks it up into regions. So like the Southwest region, what makes those kind of, what makes that a region? It talks about different things that are found in that region as a whole. I really like this. I feel like it was well worth the money. Back then it was $12, so now it's probably $20, but still, I would think this is very much worth the money. Both of my kids have really enjoyed this. She's picked it up and flipped through it some and looked through it and read through it, And so she's excited to use this. So that's kind of our basic subjects, right? So we covered language arts, math, history, and science. My kids do some elective stuff. We're not hardcore with our electives. We do some fun stuff. They do the Good and the Beautiful language arts has the art component with the watercolors. So we do that. Tons and tons of chapter books, living books, etc. Lots of reading, and that's pretty much the basics of our homeschool. So let me know what y'all are using for 4th grade, 5th grade. I don't even know what I'm going to title this video because, like I said, the grade levels are very fluid for me. But I would be interested if you've used any of this and loved it. Like, this is kind of our core. These are the things we go back to year after year that we know work. I don't like to do a lot of curriculum hopping and trying new curriculums all the time because it gets kind of exhausting trying something out and having it not work, or not being familiar with something and then having to try and gather everything at the last minute. So if it's a new science curriculum, all of a sudden we need 14 different science experiment things that we didn't have, or oh, you're supposed to have this video or this extra book or this thing or whatever, and it gets to be a lot. So this is just, we found our groove and we're enjoying our groove. So if you are new to homeschooling, if you're a veteran, let me know what you're doing this year. And until the next time, y'all go read a lot.